So, how did you get involved with the Ohio Wildlife Center?
Well, about 11 years ago, I found a baby raccoon, and somebody told me that there was an Ohio Wildlife Center who would know how to raise it and the legal way to do it. You can't just take a wild animal and raise it. So I started taking animals to them and birds to them that I found, and then I decided this was what I wanted to do. I wanted to volunteer for them, and I have done that. Most of the time, I would go once a week there, and I would take care of the orphans and the sick animals. But when COVID started, I exclusively was taking them at home, and I fostered the infants. I don't take care of sick ones in my own house. I'm only licensed by the government to take the orphans or ones that are well. Tonight, we are going to release 4 little Chimney Swifts that I raised. Chimney Swifts are very unique. They cannot eat from the ground. They have to grab their food mid-air. So when you raise them, you can't expect them to grow up and start pecking on their own. They will always have to be fed by you with the suitable food, which are insects, because that's what they live exclusively off in the air. Now, why are we at Dublin Sells Middle School? Because Dublin Sells Middle School has a wonderful chimney, and it has a good exposed area around it. And it's probably the second biggest area for chimney swifts to come. Chimney swifts used to, in the old days, live in chimneys in big fancy houses or in big hollow trees. But over time, it turned out that the suitable chimneys that were left were in the older schools. Now what happens is, at the period of time that swifts are in Ohio, at about evening time, they swirl around the chimney. And when I bring my babies who are ready to go, and they've eaten about 60 crickets today, they eat every hour, and they have been for weeks. So when all the other swifts come swirling around and then down into the chimney for the night, my little birds will take off with them, and they will all swirl together and go down in the chimney. And tomorrow morning when they take off, the adult birds will teach my little birds how to buy their food in the sky. I don't want them to fly yet.
Okay.
You don't want me to take the sheet off yet. Eat it up. Eat it up. Can you get me a couple more, Michael?
Here you go, love.
I'm going to put them here so I can pick up the ones I want them to have crickets. All right, darling, you've had 3. You've had 23 in the last 2 hours. There you go. Do you want another one? Now, one thing is, once they start flapping their wings, when you go to feed them, you know they're ready to leave. Because in the air, the young birds will flutter their wings, and then the adult birds will possibly feed them. But when they were young, they never fluttered their wings when I fed them. Come on, darling. They make a specific noise when they want food, and it's a very raucous chirp, so now they're just socializing. What they do is, in cold weather, they jam up to each other, and some get underneath, and they're just one little glob of babies keeping each other warm. And then if it's warm weather, they separate so that they can be cooled off. They're very intelligent. See if they want food.
Yeah, that's it. I got a place to stay. That's right. Yeah. No, no.
So it's just air. It hits that, and it went all the way down to the basement.
It was Christmas, 2 Christmases.
But every wire
Do you want to go?
They were,
Anybody else hungry before you go?
a little bit over a year.
The building was fried.
The bigger one is dying to go, but
Oh, look at that fly. Yeah, was that your bird?
yes.
Where did it go?
Why release it before the other ones jump?
I don't know about the babies, but fly.
Yeah, there he goes. Look at that.
Over there. So she let 3 go.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Don't say anything. They are three. They don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do.
I don't see any more now.
You know, I do have to say that even though I've been a teacher, a nurse, a midwife for about 60 years, I don't think there's anything more satisfying to me than raising small animals and small birds and bringing them to adulthood and letting them go in a good environment and a good place where they can live their lives out. Once I couldn't have children anymore and my grandchildren grew, and once I wasn't a midwife, I found that working with the animals and the birds gave me as much reward and as much love.